This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe birthday boy. And this birthday boy is an icon for the Chicago White Sox, one of the best first baseman slash designated hitters in Chicago history. Sorry, Paul Canarco. But basically, this guy, I thought for sure would always be a Chicago White Sox, but he wasn't. He spent a few years with Oakland, and he spent a few years with my beloved Toronto Blue Jays. It's the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. He played from 1990 to 2008. He was a five-time All-Star. He had 7 kids. He's the only player in MLB history to have 7 consecutive seasons with at least a 300 batting average, 100 RBIs, 100 runs scored, 100 walks, and 20 home runs. Well, that was from 91 to 97, even though 94 and 95 were strike shortened. Anyway, Thomas won the AL batting title in 1997. He actually is 53 years old today on May 27. So anyway, Frank Thomas was drafted 7th overall by the White Sox in the 89 MLB draft. Thomas ended up being the AL MVP by unanimous vote in 93. And he repeated as MVP in the 94 strike shortened season. He helped Chicago do a lot. But basically, foot injuries and ailments would put Frank Thomas in a DH role instead of first base. He had a lot of injuries. He fractured a bone in his foot that ruined his 2005 season, especially with the fact that the White Sox won the World Series and all that. He would spend the final 3 years of his career with Oakland and Toronto. Toronto's where he got his 500th home run, which is funny. Anyway, Frank Thomas, when he retired, was 8th in AL history in home runs, 521, and 9th in RBIs, 1,704. His number of 35 has been retired by the White Sox. It has to be. And he was in the he's in the Hall of Fame. First year of eligibility, 2014. The first White Sox to do that. Wow. And he was one of only a few stars of the 90s who didn't get suspected of drugs and all that. He actually was interviewed for the Mitchell Report in 2007. You know, the drug thing. Honesty is the best policy. So anyway, he was pretty good and all that. He played football at Auburn. You know, Auburn is good for their football and all that. But after his injury in football, he decided to play baseball. He was cut from the final squad of the 1988 Summer Olympics, but didn't matter. He still was good. So the White Sox decided to select him with the 7th pick. His major league debut, he didn't get a hit, but he got an RBI on a fielder's choice. He was known for his menacing home run power. He was very talented and all that. Thomas would basically be the star that would break in the new Comiskey Park. Old Comiskey Park was from 1910 to 1990, but you know what I mean, right? Thomas ended up being 3rd at MVP voting in 91, which was pretty impressive for a guy in his second season. He had 318 batting average, 32 home runs, 109 RBIs. But in 93, he was just unbelievable. 317 with 41 home runs, 128 RBIs. He joined Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, and Ted Williams as the only players to eclipse 300 with more than 20 home runs and more than 100 RBI runs and walks in 3 straight seasons. It was weird that he was a unanimous AL MVP. I guess the Blue Jays were basically a team first mentality, and basically, who could you vote for the Blue Jays to be the MVP? Probably Allrood. But yeah, I think Frank Thomas deserved it. His first MVP was the first time since 1972 that the White Sox had one, and that was Dick Allen. He helped the White Sox crush the opposition in the 1993 season to win the AL West. It was amazing. The Big Hurt was huge for the White Sox, even though they lost to the Jays in the ALCS that season in 6 games. Well, of course, the Big Hurt is the nickname that one Ken Hawk Harrelson gave him. So anyway. Of course, Frank Thomas did just as well in the strike shortened season of 94. He batted 353, 38 home runs, 101 RBIs in like 113 games. Like, Can you imagine what would have happened if he had a full season? He took 24 of 28 first place votes to get the MVP and was only one of 3 first basemen to win consecutive MVPs. Jimmy Fox, 32 and 33. I believe one year was a Triple Crown for Jimmy Fox, and Albert Pujols from 08 and 08 and 09. Frank Thomas almost got the Triple Crown. All that. But of course, the strike ruined him. However, the strike didn't really ruin it. 95 was a shortened season too, but he got 40 home runs, 111 RBIs. In 96, he got 40 home runs, 134 RBIs. So basically, he was just at his prime. He won the batting title in 97. However, injuries would soon take a toll on him and basically, ruin his career in a sense. Although Frank Thomas in 2000 actually crushed everyone's expectations with a 328 batting average, 43 home runs, 143 RBIs. He was runner-up in the MVP behind Jason Giambi. And Thomas won the AL Comeback Player of the Year. But he had a lot of problems with his injuries and all of that. Frank Thomas had injury, but he got to throw out the ceremonial first pitch of the ALDS with the White Sox and the defending champion Red Sox. It was amazing and all that. He did get a World Series ring for his contributions. Frank Thomas had a lot of White Sox records. However, despite his production and fan base in Chicago, they decided to release him. Frank Thomas was mad that the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf of the White Sox, didn't tell him he was coming back. And basically, Kenny Williams, the GM of the White Sox, got issues with him. All that. So he decided to sign with Oakland for a 1 year, $500,000 deal with incentives. And Oakland decided to give him the DH spot. And it was amazing. Even though he had a slow start, he had a great finish, and he was the team leader in home runs and RBIs. That's pretty good. Oakland got to the 2006 playoffs because of him. Frank Thomas ended up homering twice in a game against the White Sox at US Cellular Field, aka the new Comiskey Park. The White Sox fans gave him a standing ovation. They didn't really hate him. They hated Reinsdorf for getting rid of him. Thomas in that year with Oakland placed 5th in the American League in home runs with 39, which was amazing. So yeah, he helped Oakland do well. And all that. Got them past the Twins for the ALDS. That's kind of when the Twins that's the start of the Twins' big 19-game postseason losing streak. Despite the fact Oakland did get swept by the Tigers in the ALCS thanks to Miguel Ordonez's home run, he still did good, and he was actually runner-up in the AL Comeback Player of the Year award. Ironically, behind his replacement as the White Sox DH, Jim Thome. So after the 1 year deal, he decided to sign a 2-year deal with the Blue Jays, which was big. It was like, can Frank Thomas have the power he used to have with the White Sox with the Blue Jays? Thomas was going to get $1 million first season, $8 million the next season, but of course, his contingent. All that. Thomas ended up breaking a few milestones with the Blue Jays. June 17th, he got his 244th home run as a DH, breaking the record set by Edgar Martinez. And in June 2007, he hit his 500th home run at the Metrodome against Carlos Silva. Ironically, later on in the day, Frank Thomas's 500 home run would be overshadowed by Craig Biggio's 3,000th career hit. And weirdly enough, Frank Thomas was actually ejected for arguing in that same game. Frank Thomas would get a 3 home run game with the Blue Jays, which was rare. Now he was a star. He had a grand slam off a Red Sox reliever April 6, 2008. But John Gibbons would bench Frank Thomas before a game against the Tigers, and basically that was just it. Angry, the Blue Jays decided to release him, and Oakland decided to give him a chance. He had time on the disabled list, but he still got a few home runs. Thomas decided to play in the decided to sign a one-day contract with the White Sox to retire as a White Sox player. And the White Sox decided to tell everyone they'll retire as number 35 during the 2010 season. It was amazing that Frank Thomas was not affected by performance enhancing drugs in the 1990s. All that. So yeah, Frank Thomas was the 21st player to get 500 home runs in June 2007 as a member of the Blue Jays, which is rare and all that. So yeah, he's an icon and all that. He was the home run leader for DH all time, but David Ortiz obviously broke that record. I rarely see David Ortiz in the outfield. I mean, in the field play. But do you know what was weird about Frank Thomas? I know there was a video game called Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. He was a man of pinball and all that. Well, he did some stuff. He's in business. But Frank Thomas, did you know that Frank Thomas was actually in the movie Mr. Baseball? You know, the Tom Selleck film that I call one of my best baseball movies I ever watched as a kid? Yeah, he was in Mr. Baseball. He was actually the rookie for the Yankees wearing number 68. Ricky Davis, who forced Tom Selleck's character off the Yankees roster. So yeah, so basically the guy who forced Tom Selleck's character to leave the Yankees was Frank Thomas, the actual Frank Thomas, the big slugger. That's amazing and all that. And he was even in Married with Children in that episode that parodied the '94 baseball strike. So yeah, Frank Thomas did pretty good for himself. And I think he's cool. And not performance enhancing. Good for him. Anyway, I don't have time and I do.